Urza of Dominaria was a man of prodigious intellect and unrivaled ambition, a figure whose life and legacy would be etched into the annals of history with equal parts admiration and fear. Born into nobility in the coastal kingdom of Argiv on the continent of Phyrexia, Urza was destined for greatness from the moment of his birth. Yet his path to immortality would be neither straightforward nor free from darkness. Urza's life was one of ceaseless struggle, a battle that spanned millennia, against an enemy as relentless as time itself, the infernal plane of Phyrexia and its malevolent ruler, Yawgmoth. The early years of Urza's life were marked by a sense of inevitability, as though the cosmos had already charted his course. Born alongside his brother Mishra, Urza was a child of both privilege and sorrow. Their mother died while they were still young, and their father, a man of means but little warmth, remarried a woman who treated the boys with cold indifference. The brothers were sent away to study under Tokasia, an archaeologist of some renown who ran a dig site in the deserts of Phyrexia. It was here, among the ancient ruins of the Thran civilization, that Urza first began to glimpse the contours of his destiny. Under Tokasia's tutelage, Urza and Mishra delved into the mysteries of the past, unearthing artifacts of unimaginable power. The two brothers were prodigies, but where Mishra was impulsive and passionate, Urza was meticulous and coldly analytical. The friction between them grew with each passing year, their sibling rivalry becoming the crucible in which both their fates would be forged. It was in the caves of Koilos, a place shrouded in legend and fear, that the brothers' paths would irrevocably diverge. There, hidden deep within the earth, they discovered a power stone of such magnitude that it had the potential to reshape the world. In their haste and greed, they shattered the stone, each claiming one half for himself. Urza's half became the Might Stone, and Mishra's the Weak Stone. This fateful division sowed the seeds of their eventual enmity. Tokasia, caught in the crossfire of her students' escalating conflict, met a tragic end. Her death drove the brothers apart, setting them on separate trajectories that would ultimately lead to catastrophe. Urza, his heart hardened by grief and guilt, fled to Yotia, where he took up an apprenticeship with a clockmaker. Yet the quiet life of a tradesman was ill-suited to a man of Urza's boundless intellect and ambition. When the ruler of Yotia announced a contest to move a colossal jade statue, offering his daughter's hand in marriage as a reward, Urza saw an opportunity not for love, but for power. He built a machine of unprecedented scale and ingenuity, and with it he won the contest and the hand of Kayla bin Kroog, the princess of Yotia. But marriage did little to soften Urza's heart. On their wedding night, he left his bride alone to study a Thran tome from her dowry, consumed by his thirst for knowledge. While Urza entrenched himself in the role of Yotia's chief artificer, Mishra had found his place among the desert-dwelling Falaji people. Over time, he rose to power, becoming the trusted advisor to their leader. The brothers, now rulers in all but name, inevitably found themselves on opposite sides of a growing conflict. What began as skirmishes soon escalated into all-out war, a war fought not just with armies but with the machines of war that each brother had devised. The conflict, known as the Brothers' War, raged across Phyrexia, leaving devastation in its wake. The culmination of this war came on the island of Argoth, where the two brothers faced each other one final time. Urza, now fully aware that Mishra had been corrupted by the dark influence of Phyrexia, unleashed the Golgothian Silex, an ancient and terrible artifact. The Silex blast was a cataclysm of unparalleled magnitude. It obliterated both armies, sank the island of Argoth beneath the waves, and plunged Dominaria into a long and bitter ice age. But in the midst of this destruction, something remarkable happened. As the Silex's power consumed him, Urza's Planeswalker spark ignited, transforming him into a being of immense power. His eyes, fused with the Might Stone and Weak Stone, became the twin Loti of his newfound abilities, granting him both incredible strength and a haunting reminder of his brother's fate. Urza's ascension to Planeswalker did not bring him peace. If anything, it deepened his obsession with Phyrexia and with Yawgmoth, the dark god who ruled it. He embarked on a quest that would span centuries, traveling from plane to plane, seeking allies and knowledge that could aid him in his war against the Phyrexians. He found both in abundance, but the cost was often high. On the plane of Serra's realm, he destroyed the Phyrexian invaders, but left the plane itself mortally wounded. On Dominaria, he founded the Tolarian Academy, a bastion of learning where the brightest minds of the age gathered to study magic and technology under his guidance. Among his students were Barin, the greatest wizard of his time, Teferi, a prodigious mage with a mischievous streak, and Rain, a scholar of unparalleled intellect. It was at Tolaria that Urza created Khan, a silver golem imbued with the heartstone of Zancha, a Phyrexian sleeper agent who had turned against her creators. Khan was more than just a machine. He was Urza's hope for redemption, a being capable of traveling through time to undo the mistakes of the past. But the experiment went horribly wrong. The time machine Urza had built to study the ancient war that had led to the Thran's downfall malfunctioned, tearing the fabric of reality itself. The explosion devastated the island of Tolaria, killing many of its inhabitants and leaving the survivors trapped in pockets of distorted time. Once again, Urza was left to pick up the pieces of a world shattered by his own hubris. Yet Urza was not a man to be easily deterred. He rebuilt the academy and continued his work, driven by the knowledge that Phyrexia was growing stronger with each passing day. He forged alliances with the elves of Lanawa, the dragons of Shiv, and the treefolk of Yavimaya, even though the latter despised him for the destruction of Argoth. Urza was relentless, a man possessed by a single-minded determination to atone for his past sins by ensuring Dominaria's future. The culmination of Urza's efforts was the Legacy, a weapon of unimaginable power designed to destroy Phyrexia once and for all. Central to this plan was the skyship Weatherlight, a marvel of Thran engineering fused with Yavimayan life. But the Legacy was more than just a ship. It was a collection of artifacts, a living weapon that required the ultimate sacrifice to activate. Urza knew that to save Dominaria, he might have to destroy himself. The final battle came during the Phyrexian invasion, when Yawgmoth unleashed his full might upon Dominaria. The 9 Titans, massive artifact constructs powered by Planeswalkers, were Urza's last desperate gambit. But even they were not enough to stem the tide. Urza's own fascination with the Phyrexian plane, its artificial nature, its dark beauty, proved to be his undoing. In a moment of weakness, he hesitated, unable to destroy what he had spent so long studying. Yawgmoth seized this opportunity and forced Urza to fight Gerard Capashen, the leader of the Weatherlight crew and the inheritor of Urza's legacy. In the end, it was Gerard who struck the final blow, beheading Urza in the Phyrexian arena. But death was not the end for Urza. His essence, bound within the twin power stones that had once been his eyes, lived on. In the final moments of the invasion, as Yawgmoth himself descended upon Dominaria, Urza revealed the last secret of the Legacy weapon. It required the combined power of all the Legacy artifacts, the essence of Khan, and the life of Gerard to activate. In a blaze of light, the Legacy weapon was fired, annihilating Yawgmoth and ending the Phyrexian threat once and for all. Urza's story did not end with his death. His legacy lived on, not just in the artifacts and knowledge he left behind, but in the lives of those he had touched. Khan, now a Planeswalker himself, took up Urza's mantle, vowing to protect the multiverse from the evils that had consumed his master. And in the years that followed, Teferi discovered that Urza had left behind contingencies for the next generation to defend against any future threats. Urza was many things: hero, villain, genius, and madman, but above all, he was a man who refused to be defeated, even by his own failings. His story is one of tragedy and triumph, a tale of a man who sought to change the course of history and, in doing so, became history itself.